Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another Technolive. It's sorry, it's been one of those days today, and it's just nice to get back into a bit of routine.
It's strange actually because I was thinking earlier. I'm, as you know, Jack, back at university. Oh, hang on, audio, muted. There we go, muted. As you know, Jack, I'm back at university now, but I'm still having to do some work from home. So I'm kind of in this. I go to university in the building, but then have to be at home to do other stuff. So it's a bit kind of like still during lockdown doing work at my desk at home, but also not, which is very bizarre.
Yeah, it's weird doing it half and half.
Mm.
Well, I was at home today because I was waiting for a parcel, and I was terrified it's going to turn up halfway through the stream because they have got a tendency of doing that, haven't they?
Oh, I mean, and when they give you a really helpful delivery time of it might arrive at 8 a.m.
It
or
might
anywhere
arrive sometime in the next 10 years.
10 years. Yeah, it's very irritating. I know some delivery providers are quite good with their hour time slots, but others are very kind of broad, which makes it very tricky to plan your days around parcels. Is it a big parcel too?
Well, that's the thing. I received today a new SSD for my computer.
Ooh, how large?
Well, only 240 gigabytes.
Okay.
But the thing is, my computer, which I've been using for ages, I've had since about 2015, and it's on its last legs. Windows 10, it just complains constantly. Oh, the other day, I could use my computer for the internet, but Windows couldn't use the computer for the internet because Windows forgot how to tell whether or not I had internet. I had to go into this whole network location awareness and change all sorts of weird, scary settings. Oh, I was fed up with it. But yeah, it's on its last legs. So I thought I'm going to extend its life by a couple more years, and I'm going to go from a hard drive to an SSD.
Yes.
So hard drives are the old tech. They're the ones where you've got these big glass discs spinning around. And, on the glass discs, that's where you encode the zeros and ones in magnets. And they're all right, except it takes time for one point of the disc to spin around to hit the little bit that sticks out and reads that disc.
It does.
It's called the seek time, I believe. And, they've been... Things have kind of been changing over the past 10 years or so because we've been moving to flash memory.
We have. And
flash memory is much faster because it has no moving parts.
That's right.
And I couldn't tell you how it works. It's all to do with...
No, I've got no idea.
It's all like a weave of, microscopic bits of copper, and it's
I think it
crazy.
can be defined as a what's-it-mahooly.
A what's-it-mahooly, indeed.
Well, you see, not to toot my own horn, but I have a fancy pants computer here which actually has both an SSD and a HDD.
Do you notice much of a difference between the two?
If I'm downloading a game from something like Steam and I'm saving it to the SSD, as well, anyone who's downloaded a game from Steam knows that you can watch the little graph thingy show you how quickly it's reading or writing to the disk as well as downloading. And if I recall, if I could be wrong here, but I'm sure when I was saving to the SSD, you can see the speed is much quicker than what it is with the HDD.
Yeah, and it's SSDs that are making the next generation of consoles so much faster. So the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, they are... one of the big things about them is they're blazingly fast. So there's very short load times when you're playing games.
I think we have come a long way since the 2 megabyte detachable memory cards that we had to put into the PS1.
And the PlayStation 2 memory card shortage.
Oh, was there a crisis for that as well?
There was, yeah. No one could get memory cards, and you had to trade them in the playground.
I would say, so for context for those viewers who haven't ever used a memory card on a PlayStation before, because why would you today?
GameCube also had them as well.
GameCube, yeah, loved my GameCube. You had to have a separate little teeny tiny card that you plugged into your PlayStation, which stored all of your game data on. So all of your saves weren't just saved on the console. You had to put it in this tiny memory card. And the problem was they were very tiny, weren't they, Jack, by memory, by comparison to, the size of game saves today versus what they were then.
Yeah, they were quite a chunky thing. They weren't, small in size, but they were small in how much they could store.
How much. Exactly, because, so let's say you got one that was 4 megabytes. Well, there's 1,000 megabytes in a gigabyte. And just think, if there's 1,000 megabytes in a gigabyte and these memory cards were 4 megabytes, there's quite clearly a...
You can't even get 1 gigabyte memory sticks now because that's so small.
It's just, it's too small for anything.
Anyway, let's get on with what we're going to do today.
Put our nostalgia behind us.
Well, we could talk forever about nostalgia.
We could.
So I'd really love to show you installing my SSD into my dusty computer.
Yes.
Trouble is, I'm using that computer to, run the stream.
Yeah, and I think that might be an issue. I think Windows will complain even more if you try to take out your existing hard drive or added more components midstream. So
we're going to do the next best thing. We're going to do it virtually, and we're going to do it in a game called PC Building Simulator.
Other simulators are available.
Exactly, and other games are available. This game is all about building PCs. So if I go down my little corridor, I got a little workshop with lots of annoying posters that, if this were mine, I'd replace them with, I don't know, boring pictures.
I feel like I've seen many popular YouTuber play this specific game. I feel like we've made it, Jack. We're up there now.
Well, say that.
Give us our diamond play button now, is what I say.
You say that, but I've not used this before, and we're going to try and build a PC.
Yeah, because this is the thing. Jack and I are not... Well, we're more programmingly inclined, aren't we, Jack?
Yeah, I'm much happier with software.
Yeah, here's the computer assembled. You can do stuff on it. So this is now us attempting to do the opposite of what we're used to, which is instead of us having a computer to do things on, we need to actually build the computer.
Exactly. So, yeah, the place to start, of course, is with a case. Because when you talk about PC computers, we're not talking about things like laptops. We're talking about these big tower cases. And we've had these tower cases since around the 80s or the 90s.
Oh, yes, we have.
And that's where you start, because it's the bit that protects all the sensitive electronics.
Now, again, not to toot my own horn, but I do have a fancy pants case.
Well, this is...
It has...
Carry on.
It has glass on the side and fancy pants lighting.
Ooh. Well, yeah. I want to see if... maybe if we've got time, we'll see if we can build your computer.
Oh, there you go, yeah.
But I put the title as building... oh, hang on, I've misspelled the title of the video. Oh, no. Quick edit, midstream. Hang on.
Oh, no.
Build...
I mean, you spelled it correctly in one place.
There we are. Professionalism, all sorted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to start with a case. I thought it'd be fun to see if we could build something a bit like my computer, as in old and not very up to date.
Oh, there you go.
But from the looks of what's available in this game, Like, ooh, you get weird shaped ones. I don't understand it. We might not be able to do that. We might
Okay.
have to build a fancy one.
We might have to build a fancy pants. I mean, I've got 3 spinning fans in the front, one
Oh
at
my
the
goodness.
back, and one in the middle.
My fans don't spin anymore because they're full of dust.
Oh, okay. Well, the thing is that my computer itself is actually designed for flight simulators. So it's, I don't want to say high spec, but it's more kind of that mid-rangey ground. As we knew from one of our first ever joint Technolives, Jack, on the
Oh yeah.
Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Right. I'm just thinking of going with a basic one.
I think that would be
It's been a
sensible.
while since I've built a computer because things have changed a little bit.
Why are there some that look like briefcases?
I know. Also, this game is completely full of sponsored items. Like, there's things that are actual products from real companies. Zeus, Be Quiet, Gigabyte, all that. We don't like sponsorship and advertising, that kind of stuff. So if I'm picking something, it's me picking stuff at random, not because it's a certain company or because I think that company's better or anything.
Other brands are available.
Other brands are available. I'm going to go with this one just because... Oh, no, it's got a big thing at the top. I'm trying to look at something I kind of recognize or understand. Maybe something like that because it's not as confusing. Because it's been a while since I've built a computer and things have changed.
Oh, well, yeah.
Anyway, which desk do you want to go for, Dan? Do you want to go left, forward, or right?
Let's go for the right desk.
Okay, just pop it down there. And yeah, this is our computer, and it, part of this game is for advertising, so it tells you the prices, but it's telling us in dollars, so we won't understand them.
And is that with or without tax? Who knows?
The first thing to do is probably take off the side panel so we can see what's inside. So I'm just unscrewing the sides here.
PC status missing parts.
Yeah.
Means
Definitely missing some parts. I think your computer's a bit empty here.
yeah, I don't think it'll function.
But this is the sort of this has been the standard sort of case design for the past 10, 20 years. So we got space for... Well, we need all our components. So what do you think our first component we should install is? If I go to the install menu, it gives us a little bit of a breakdown.
Is it going to be best to start with something like the motherboard?
Probably, yeah. So the motherboard is kind of the... I don't want to say the most important because all the components kind of come together to do something. Yeah. But the motherboard is pretty much what everything plugs into. It's what connects things together. And, yeah. Oh, it's got acronyms I don't understand anymore.
Oh, goodness. There's a lot of
There's a lot of motherboards. And they all look like a... They all look like a robot that's fallen down the stairs.
Yeah, it's all just a jumble of circuitry, really.
Yeah. But this is... and this is the very clear difference between gaming PCs and normal PCs. So gaming PCs are all about... well, they're not really any different. Trouble is, they're trying to sell them, so they make them look really sort of, gamery.
Yeah.
Whereas a normal PC motherboard will probably do exactly the same thing, cost half the price, and just won't have all these weird angles.
I mean, realistically, what matters the most in a gaming PC is your processor and your graphics card, really, isn't it? So the motherboard is just really a motherboard.
Yeah. Yeah, all of these look like... They just look expensive.
gaming edge Wi-Fi, Tomahawk, bazooka.
Yeah. Oh, that looks a little bit more standard, a little bit more old-fashioned.
A default motherboard.
Yeah, it doesn't without all the angular, gamer bits.
Mm.
I'm just going to pick any one of these at random.
Everything in gaming is for some reason pointy.
Yeah. So yeah, first of all, we're putting down some screws or some standoffs, as they're called. This keeps the motherboard off the back of the computer.
Mm.
And that means it doesn't, electricity doesn't jump across the back of the motherboard. Because if we turn it around and take off the back of the case, which I can't do because I'm in install mode. Hang on, let me just screw down this motherboard. Because that's one of the things you need when building a computer. You need a screwdriver.
Yes.
Surprising enough. So everyone who says it's just like big Lego, well, no, because you don't need a screwdriver for Lego.
That is, I forget that the motherboard contains the USB ports and the audio ports and what's it Mahoolies, doesn't it?
Yeah, so now we've installed the motherboard. If I turn around the back, we can see all these parts. So we've got USB, Ethernet.
Yeah.
We've got
HDMI.
sound cards as well.
Do you have HDMI there as well?
I think so. It's a bit hard to tell because they're all grey, which is...
judging by what I have on the back of my PC, I've got audio, HDMI, Ethernet, and also the many USBs. I'm not actually sure how many USBs exactly. From what I can count, all combined, I've got 1, 2, I think there's another 4 there, that's 6. Plus another 3. I think I have at least 9, possibly 10 USB ports of varying kind of, 2, 3. Is there a USB 4?
No. We kind of... We're not really going
3?
for numbered USBs anymore because USB-C is kind of the now new standard.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I
have one of those.
Well, before we can even get the USBs working, we'll need the rest of the components.
Yeah, we might struggle otherwise.
So we've got the motherboard. That's the kind of the basis. That's where everything plugs in. One of the most important things a computer needs, though, is the CPU.
Yes.
It's the central processing unit. So the CPU is basically where it does all the thinking.
Yes, and a good CPU is important.
Yeah, and all of these seem to be incompatible, which makes me think I've chosen the wrong motherboard.
AMD Ryzen.
Oh, no, it's compatible with Intel stuff. Other brands are available.
Yes. Oh, my PC is an AMD Ryzen 5 2060 Super Duper. Although I'm not sure.
Is that the proper name?
I think so. Although I'm not sure, actually, if I've mixed that up with the graphics card. But I don't. No, because the graphics card is NVIDIA. So if I pronounced that correctly. NVIDIA.
Yeah.
So either way, yes. I must have got that right then. So I have an AMD processor. But the i7, is that the newest or is there an i10 now?
There's i9s.
That's the one.
But they don't go in order. So we've had i3, i5, i7 and i9 for about however many years. I think we've had them for about 10 years now.
Yeah, we've had them a while.
But it's not the number that goes up. It's they have Skylake, Kaby Lake. They're all named after different lakes.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Yes, so it's not to do with the number, it's to do with what lake they're.
That's not at all confusing.
Either way, we're going to go for... I said we're going to make a potato. So I'm going to go Intel Celeron.
Oh, yeah, good choice.
There's a reason some people call this Intel Celery.
Yeah.
So
Good choice.
Intel Celeron, quite an older one. Quite slow.
I'm seeing 2 cores there, Jack. And
2 cores. Also, it's 2.9 gigahertz. That's the frequency. So every CPU has a clock inside, and the clock ticks. And every time the clock ticks, an instruction gets executed. But the tick is not a standard, second like on a normal clock. It's the clock can run faster or slower.
Yeah.
So on this one, we've got a 4,200 megahertz clock. That's very fast. But here we've got a 2,900 megahertz clock. So I'm going to add in an Intel Celeron. And yeah, we have to put it inside the CPU shield, which I just folded up there. And just popped it straight in. And let's close the shield and lock it in place.
Perfect.
Yeah. So that might... We might get somewhere just running a motherboard and a... Oh, no, we're missing...
Oh, Jack.
Yeah?
Have you added the thermal paste?
Well, that's one thing to think about. So, CPUs get hot. Very hot.
Very.
In fact, if you can hear a fan going in the background, that's not me putting a fan on me. That's me cooling down my PC with a big fan.
They get toasty.
They do. In fact, there's a very good, and I recommend it, the Royal Institution Christmas Lectures. They do a science lecture every Christmas. One year they did an example where they fried an egg with a computer.
Oh, wow.
So instead of putting a fan on top of the CPU, they put on a frying pan. And they just got the computer running a game or something. And yeah, they fried a leg. Fried an egg live in front of the audience.
You put your leg on it.
So yeah.
They get hot.
They get very hot. So we will need to cool it down with a big fan. However, fans nowadays are getting so large because CPUs are getting so hot that sometimes it gets hard to install other components if you put the fan on first.
My fan is so large it has its own light.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when I got my PC, I got someone else to build it and then had it delivered to me. Trouble is, I thought, I want my PC to last a long time, so I'm going to get a really big fan so it keeps it very cold. Trouble is, I chose a fan that was so big that it fell off whilst it was being delivered, and the fan rattled around the case, and it bent the motherboard. It destroyed the RAM, and it snapped the graphics card.
So I don't think it worked then, did it?
No, I had to send that back.
Yeah.
But before we put the fan in, I'm going to put the RAM in, because putting the RAM in first makes it easier to put the fan in. So the RAM, and I think in one of our past streams you explained it really nicely, Dan, as your RAM's like a notepad. Your RAM is the bit of memory the computer has where it jots down any notes it's making along the way.
Yes.
So, when you're writing a Word document, that's going to be stored in RAM until you click the save button. And when you click the save button, it's no longer going to be in RAM, it's going to go to your hard drive or your SSD. I'm thinking let's put in a couple of 8 gigabyte sticks.
Well, 8 gigabytes is normally I guess a minimum nowadays.
Yeah, Chrome especially. Other browsers are available. Takes up a lot of storage. But I'm going to put in a couple of 8 gigabyte sticks. Okay, so there's one, and it clips in very nicely, and it just sort of sticks out from there. I could do with another zoom level, but I'm not finding it.
I did mix up my graphics card and my processor.
Hmm.
The graphics card is that NVIDIA
Oh, yeah.
super duper. My processor is an AMD Ryzen 5 3600X, which has 6 cores. I did not have to just check the invoice to find this information out. I, of course, know my computer inside and out as a computer scientist. Please don't discredit me, Bang University.
I've kind of gotten a bit carried away here.
How many have you added?
I've added 4 8GB sticks.
Right, so we have a celery, but what's that?
So we've got a very slow processor, and we've got 64 gigabytes of RAM.
64 gigabytes of RAM.
Yeah, which makes no sense. Also, there's bubbles falling from the ceiling. What?
Wait, hang on, Jack.
Oh, it's just a bubble. Never mind.
Isn't it 32 gigabytes of RAM?
Wait, what's 4 times 8?
32.
Is it? Hang on. Oh, yeah. Oh, dear. Well, there goes my maths again. Okay, so it's not too bad. We've got 32 gigabytes of RAM.
That's still quite a lot.
That's
though,
still quite a lot, considering
my
that.
computer has 16.
Yeah. But we've also got an Intel Celeron, which means one of these things is not like the other.
No.
In that we've got far too much RAM for what we'd be able to do with a Celeron.
It's the equivalent of putting... I guess we could think about it. We're putting a moped engine in the body of a Ferrari.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's I think an easy way to put it.
Well, no, I because it's RAM. I think a nicer way to think about that is we've got a tiny little 3-wheeler car,
Reliant Robin,
and we're putting in with it a fuel tank from a lorry.
There you go.
It's kind of a bit like that.
Oh, that's a good description.
Yeah. Anyway, we've got lots of RAM. We should probably pop in a something to cool the CPU down.
Yeah.
But first of all, because the fan sits directly on top of the CPU, we need to make sure that they touch together closely. Because the way that heat works is if you've got any kind of air gaps, the heat doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
It just stays on one surface. To transfer to another surface, we need to have something that makes sure the fan and the CPU touch, connect really well.
Some kind of copper piping or something?
No, we're talking about the thermal paste.
Oh, sorry, the thermal paste.
Yeah. So the thermal paste, it's kind of this grey sludge. There we are, thermal paste. And what you do is you put some thermal paste on the CPU. And yeah, as it says in that little tooltip, thermal paste improves the efficiency of heat transfer between the CPU and the cooler. There's also a debate. No one knows how much you should put on.
No, nobody knows.
Because if you tell someone on the internet you're building a computer and you use this much paste or that much paste, they'll say, that's wrong, no matter how much you say.
Yeah, but the thing is that once you, as I've learned from watching people fix computers and stuff on YouTube, it spreads itself evenly.
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter.
No.
I'm just going to put a blob. Oh, you can't do more than that. Okay, so the game's decided for us.
I mean, that's beneficial, I suppose, in our case here.
Yeah. I'm just going to put a blob, and then we just put the fan straight on top of that. So let's install a fan. Actually, do we want to go for a fan, or do we want to go for water cooling?
Oh, now, water cooling machines, they're very expensive.
They are very expensive.
And something is telling me that if we've got an Intel Celery, it would just be morally wrong to put water cooling.
Exactly. So the water cooling, basically, you have a tank of water. You have a metal block that clamps down on the CPU, and that metal block is waterproof.
Mm.
And what you do is you connect the tank up to the metal block, and it pumps water through. And the water takes the heat away from the CPU, and it needs to go somewhere, so it goes to a radiator, which is a big metal block with fans on it. And it radiates that heat into your room, and if you've got your CPU down on the floor, it may straight onto your legs, which is lovely in winter, but horrible in summer. And yeah, some people use water, other people use special liquids. It's, you know, the fancy ones who spend thousands upon thousands of pounds on their computers will have different coloured liquids. That seems a bit too much for us.
I think with our salary,
We just go for any fan that works.
I mean, look at all these green, clear, UV, green, opaque, orange.
The same things happen with the fans, really. All the fans look really fancy and coloured. I just want something boring and grey, which is my colour scheme.
Oh, or beige.
Or beige. I'm seeing lots with LEDs and colours and lighting.
Well, my fan is black, but when my computer turns on, it glows orange.
Ooh.
Which I find quite fancy pants, to be honest.
Oh yeah, sorry, I shouldn't have said "ooh" in such a mean
No,
manner.
no. Oh no. No. It's a nice orange glow. But the thing is that what's kind of irritating is that like I said, the fans on my PC light up, which is very nice, and I like it, and I can actually change the color of each of the fans. Bar for the one that is the main cooling fan, which stays as orange. Oh, that is...
I'm going to need a hand here, Dan, because what you're meant to do is you're meant to put it in the right place so the air travels in a nice path around the computer. Trouble is, I don't know what that path is.
Well, mine faces... The blades face the front of the PC.
I'm going to go for that as well, then. How do we make this go in? Oh, like that. Let's just screw it in. Oh, no, it appears to be all screwed in. Nice. Yeah, this big grey thing attached to the back, that's just a load of aluminium fins. Or sort of blades. And if you have a big stack of those, it helps spread the heat around. Anyway, we should probably think about... let's think about the graphics card.
Yeah.
Because that's a big topic at the moment. So, at the moment, practically no one can buy a graphics card.
Oh, have we got a shortage of those too?
Huge shortage. And the reason is because all crypto miners... So people who are mining Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the other crypto coins, they need really powerful graphics card for it. And so they're buying up all of the graphics cards for ridiculous amounts of money.
Oh, no.
So no one can get them, and they're always out of stock.
That's a helpful feature. Wow.
So yeah, anyway, let's pick a graphics card. So the graphics card is a bit like its own processor. It's its own CPU.
Yes,
and
it
actually has a very similar name. So the CPU is the central processing unit, well, the graphics card is also known as the GPU, and that's the graphical processing unit. So it's kind of like a friend to your computer. So if you're trying to play the game, then the computer's got a lot of maths to work out. There's a lot of maths to do itself. So it hands it off to the graphics card to do it for it.
It's its partner in crime.
Exactly. And nowadays, graphics cards are really, really impressive because they've started doing this new thing called ray tracing, or RTX.
Mm-hmm.
I think RTX is a branded name, though. Other one, it's called RTX, but I think only one company calls it RTX.
Well, yes, because I'm sure mine's an RTX.
Yeah,
I think.
But all the ray tracing means is it's a different way of it's a different way of showing 3D graphics.
Mm-hmm.
So traditionally, what happens is light is calculated beforehand. It's kind of baked in. Whereas with ray tracing, it sends out millions of rays that travel through all the different materials in the game. So it travel through glass, it'll bounce off a character's skin, that kind of stuff, and then go into the camera. But that takes a lot of work, so you need a fancy computer for it.
This is the problem with pre-baking. It means that if you bake the lighting, as I've recently learned, it obviously means that the computer will operate at a bit more of a smoother rate when the game is actually running. But if you do that, you haven't got real-time shadows and all that fancy stuff.
Mm.
Because, of course, the shadows aren't... Well, the lighting's been baked in one place. There are a lot of options here, Jack.
There are a lot of options. I have a really horrible idea.
Oh, no.
So, one of the companies that has been sold out constantly, to the point that people are selling these graphics cards on eBay for, thousands of pounds.
Mm.
One of them is Nvidia, which are quite relevant because they're buying up a lot of the smaller chip manufacturers.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should put in a Nvidia RTX 3090.
So the 3090 is going to have quite a lot of... That will probably melt the salary.
Yeah, the 3090 and other ones are available. I'm not advertising. Is known for being quite powerful. So it just has no place in being in our potato computer.
It doesn't.
But no. I have a wonderful thought of wasting this graphics card on a terrible computer when no one can buy this graphics card.
Good idea.
Anyway, I'm going to install it.
Perfect.
And you can see it's big.
They are big.
Oh, and before I do that, I need to remove these case parts because they're blocking it. So just remove those out. I'm not sure how many I need to remove out, so I'm just going to remove all of them. Yeah, there we are. And let's install a 3090.
Oh no.
Where is it? Where has it gone? Where's it gone? Where's it gone? If I can't find it, I'll just pick a random one. Yep, there's the... There it is.
Oh boy.
Oh, it's big.
The salary's not going to know what hit it.
It won't be
all
happy.
This RAM and all this RAM and all these graphics performance, and then you just have the salary.
It's so big, it's actually going into the hard drive storage bay. So that's not meant to happen. That's obviously the PC building game not happy with that.
Yeah, no, it's really not happy. Are we able to remove one of them, Jack?
We probably should, yeah.
Yeah, maybe the one that's glitching through the...
I have to undo all the screws, of course. There we are. Shall we be silly?
Oh, yes, please.
Let's put in another one.
Oh, another graphics card. What an excellent idea.
Yeah, so... Oh, no, I can't. It's not compatible.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so some graphics cards let you put 2 of them in for double the power.
Double strength.
but that's a nightmare. Anyway, so we got our graphics card. We've got our RAM. We've got our CPU. And I did just mention it. What else am I missing? Where are we going to save our games?
We need memory. Yeah, we need... Well, no, sorry, not memory. Storage.
Exactly. We'll need somewhere to actually save all the game files if we're playing games, or save the, save stuff, basically.
And not on a 2 megabyte
No.
card.
So we're going to need a hard drive. So the hard drive is different from the RAM because, I can't call it hard drive now because they're SSDs, aren't there? Basically, the hard drive / SSD is your permanent way of saving things, whereas the RAM, everything is saved to the RAM, disappears when you power off the computer. So I think we should go for an SSD at least, because that's what I received in the post.
Oh, absolutely. And so hard drives or HDDs, they are currently, they are a lot cheaper, but that is because they are so much slower. Although it's not when we say slow, we don't kind of necessarily mean sort of like potato speed, though, do we, Jack? They're just the performance just isn't as good.
No, a lot of SSDs claim to be 10 times as fast, but that's got a little asterisk after that says 10 times as fast. It is a very specific test made by the manufacturer.
Yeah.
I'm just going to let's go 120 gigabytes, because it's tiny, and
it is tiny.
I think that really shows off our...
Gosh, I think that has more. I think my MacBook Air has more than 120.
I can't find a place to install it.
There's no where's it going? Oh.
I don't think this case supports SSDs, because they're a lot smaller than a normal thing, aren't they?
Oh no, so we're going to have to put in a hard...
Is there an SSD caddy or something?
Oh, possibly, yeah.
If we search
PC
tools...
parts? Could you get...
PC
Is there a
parts?
PC parts? It's not those little slots at the bottom there, Jack, is it? Hang on. I'm trying to figure out where mine is. Underneath the graphics card, there are little slots. Is that where they go?
Hang on, let me have a check.
I'm gonna have a look in my PC as we speak to see if I can spot where mine are. So that's the RAM.
Of
that's
course,
my FS.
even nowadays. Oh, okay, that's interesting. They go on the back.
Oh,
that's brand new to me. Oh, I'm getting old. Yeah, they mount.
Back?
That's new. Huh. I wonder if my PC will have that when I have to install my SSD.
Well, maybe this is a good thing.
Yeah, maybe I'm learning something.
Oh, that's where they go.
Yeah.
What an interesting place.
Huh.
Well, how do they connect to the motherboard?
Well, we're coming on to that. Cabling.
Ah.
But I think first, before we do cabling, we should probably get some power in here. Because currently, all this needs electricity, but where's it going to get it from?
Well, precisely. We have no electricity.
No. So, we should get a power supply, which is a big part of designing a computer.
I've just seen the cost of your graphics card versus the rest of the product.
Oh, hang on. Where does it say? Oh! One of these things is not like the other. Yeah, let's get a power supply, otherwise known as a PSU. Power supply unit. And the thing is, your power supply has to be high enough power to match your devices. Trouble is, I don't know what power my other components need. So, hang on. I'm going to pick these ones because they're brown and they look like a cardboard box.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's not complaining, so I'm going to install it. And of course, we have to do all the screws. And the power supply is the bit that just takes the power from your wall and spreads it around the computer. Nice. Are we missing anything, do you think? We got processor, we got RAM, we got cooling, we've got graphics card, power supply, and we've got storage.
I don't think we've missed anything.
No, hang on, let's see what's in the install menu. You know what? I think... Oh, that's all the parts I've removed. Can we install... Seeing if there's anything available. I want to install a DVD drive.
Ooh. I have got an external one because there's actually no space in my PC for one.
Ah. Looking at this game, I don't think you can install DVD drives.
No. Is there any way to install sort of
floppy drive?
Oh my. Like Wi-Fi?
Oh, Wi-Fi card.
Yeah. Or Bluetooth.
No, I think it's only given us the main components.
Because if it's just Ethernet, then that also makes sense. Because my Wi-Fi card was so terrible that I ended up having to... It would cut out every 2 seconds. If I was playing a game online, it was appalling. So I had to default to Ethernet, which... Don't get me wrong, is a lot better, but means that I have a very ugly white cable just running through my bedroom. But it is obviously a lot better for speeds and whatnot.
Yeah, so we could install other things, except this game doesn't support them. So up in this bit, I could have a DVD drive, or a DVD burner even, one that makes DVDs. Or you could get a Blu-ray drive, one that reads Blu-rays.
Blu-ray.
Or you could go you could go simply. You could go floppy drive from the 90s.
Oh boy! Now they
made a brilliant noise whenever they read the floppy disk. It's a real crunchy sound. But yeah, those kind of things would go here. But that's kind of dying out nowadays.
Oh, you don't see a floppy disk drive.
Oh, you definitely don't see those, but you don't even see a DVD drive nowadays.
Not even in laptops now.
No.
It's all about making things smaller.
You know, even 6 years ago when I was shopping my PC together, even getting a DVD drive for that was a very odd option. And they had to put in a special order. And if I open it up now, hang on.
Oh, yeah. That was a clunk.
Sorry, it's just a lovely, familiar, old-fashioned noise. But yeah, no one uses them nowadays. It used to be for installing software or installing games. But now, you just download them.
Well, exactly, because you needed the physical disc and everything. You had to buy it, and it came in a case with a little book.
Oh, yeah, and some games wouldn't run unless you had the disc in.
The disc in, and you needed sometimes the product key, which was linked to the disc. And, oh boy!
Anyway, yeah, we don't have those. We should probably wire up everything else, though.
We should.
So if we go into cabling mode, we start to see chaos ensue.
Yes.
Okay, so this is where things get a little bit more complicated. So on the motherboard, we've got all these different things to plug in. So we got this bit here. We got this bit up here, and yeah, weird stuff like that. These are how you get different parts connected up. So, and we have to do the wiring ourselves. For example, here's a wire for this fan. This needs to be connected up to the right place on the motherboard to give the fan power. So if I plug it in where it goes, which is down here for some reason, And I don't know whether you saw that, but it's made the wire come out and around and plug in there. We've got this fan as well. Can I get rid of that thing? No, I can't. That's annoying. We've got this fan as well in the front. This one plugs in here in the motherboard. And you can see, oh, that wire's had to go up all the way through the drive bay. We've got the CPU fan, which is the most important one, because without it, we'd be frying eggs.
Yep.
This one plugs in the motherboard up here. And of course, on every motherboard, it's different. So, it's a bit of a nightmare. This orange glowing bit up here, this is the power button. That needs to be plugged in. Because what actually happens is when you press the power button, it makes a connection happen on the motherboard. And that tells the motherboard to start switching things on. So let's plug in the power cable. Oh, and as you can see, I had to go all the way through the back of the PC. So it's all come all the way down through the back. And yeah, cabling and cable management is one of the most tricky parts.
You have to pay extra for a lot of computer building companies if you want proper cable management. I remember when I was ordering my PC, I was asked, do I want to pay extra to have, intense cable management-y stuff? Where I guess I don't know, hide all of the cables? I don't know. But I didn't opt for it. And to be honest, there are only really... there are a few cables visible, but I wouldn't have said that they're that obvious that I would justify the additional cost, if you know what I mean.
So, we're actually starting to get to plug stuff into the power supply unit now. So I'm plugging is the power for the SSD. So I'm going to plug that in there. You can see it's come out of the SSD and it's gone around the back. And we've also got this other plug here for the SSD. This goes into the motherboard in one of the SATA ports or SATA ports. I think you say SATA if you're British and SATA if you're American. Because it's like data and data.
It is.
Anyway, also we need to give power to the motherboard. So we've got this. They call them jumpers, I think.
Jumpers?
Yeah, or ports. So I'm just powering the motherboard. Ooh, that's really ugly power. Really ugly cable management there. We've got this one. This goes into the power supply as well. Oof. And, of course, we need to power the graphics card. But the problem with the graphics card is it's so powerful it needs 2 power slots.
My God.
Yeah. And you know what? I think we're done.
I think so.
Now, the rule is you should always test before you put the case on. Because if something goes wrong and you've put you've attached the case back on, then it's a nightmare to have to take the case off again.
Case off again, yeah.
So I'm just going to plug everything into this monitor I've got sitting over on the left. So we've got this. This is, I think that's USB for the mouse. We got USB for the keyboard. We got HDMI for the monitor. Oh, that plugs into the graphics card.
It does. This is a mistake that I made when I first bought my PC. I accidentally plugged my monitor into my CPU HDMI port, and the computer refused to boot.
Exactly.
It just kept struggling to boot. And then I realised, and I was getting all frustrated, and I was going, gosh, I bought this, I've spent over £1,000 on this PC, and I need to check, why won't it even turn on? And then I went, oh, I plugged in the monitor into the CPU instead of the GPU, and then it was fine.
Yeah. So the reason that the motherboard has a HDMI on it is because you can bypass the graphics card.
Yes.
And the problem then is all your games will run really laggy and really slow. But the motherboard often has its own very basic graphics capabilities. However, if you don't plug the monitor into the motherboard and plug it into the graphics card instead, then it's going to get all that very fast, nice, high-speed gaming there. And finally, need power. And there we are. We've got a plugged-in PC.
Wonderful.
Now, I'm not very certain with this game because, well, I've not played it before. But I'm pretty sure this computer won't switch on.
Okay.
So we've got most of everything we need, except we've not got an operating system.
Yeah, which is a slight snag.
Yeah, so the operating system is Windows or Linux or Mac or Android or iOS. It's the sort of the base, the root software that sort of operates the computer. And when you use a program or a game, it runs on top of the operating system. And when you build your own computer, they don't come with an operating system. You have to install it yourself. So if we go ahead and just switch this computer on as is, I believe, we don't go to an operating system. We go to this. Say hello to the BIOS. So the BIOS is kind of the very basic bare bones of the computer, software-wise.
Sorry, Jack. I had a mild coughing.
Oh, okay.
Incident. I'm not COVID, just one of those moments, where you just get a tickle.
Oh, yeah. You just breathe in a mote of dust or something. Well, I had one last week, so we're even now.
We are. So we're in the BIOS.
We're in the BIOS. It's telling me that my CPU temperature is 28 degrees. And it's also showing me my terrible specs.
Oh, yes. Look at that celery.
And, I don't know what these things are.
There's a lot of things.
Yeah, we can reset all this. We can overclock as well. So overclock is where you tell a component to go beyond what it should. So we can actually make our RAM a little bit faster. We could also give it much more electricity.
Oh, healthy.
And it says, warning, too much voltage can damage RAM, and we don't recommend you go over 1.65. I'm at 2 volts. Okay, let's turn that down. And increasing your RAM speed past its rated speed might require more voltage to remain stable. Yeah, I think we'll just leave it as it was. Let's discard those changes. Yeah, discard changes. Okay, if I leave the computer on like this, yep, it says no operating system found. Because we need to install an operating system. So let's turn the power off. We can see, those fans are spinning. Lovely. Also, I just realised there's a cable going through the CPU, the GPU fan. That's not very good. Let's turn that off for now. Oh, and they slow down nice. We'll need an operating system. And the easiest way to get that is to put it on a memory stick. So tools of software. Let's get a USB drive. And... we're popping it in the back, are we? Oh, apparently we have to. Yeah, so if we have an operating system installed on that memory stick, when we power on, we can then load into that memory stick, which is what we're doing now.
Just a heads up, Jack. It is 5:30.
Oh, yeah. See, the clock on the computer we just built says so.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and... we can actually, install the software.
We're in.
As one last... I know we're over time. I just want to see what kind of games our computer can run.
Oh, yes. Go. go for it.
Let's open that up. Oh, I need to install the software first. Oh, and we have to restart. I'll quickly install, I don't know, part ranking as well. Don't know what it does.
Will it run? Will it run?
And system info, just so we can see what's going on. And, yeah, let's see. Let's restart. It is playing music, except I forgot to unmute it, so there you are. It's only playing nice, computer on, computer off sounds. Okay, let's see system info. Nice. Oh, what's our GPU temperature? How hot is our...
The celery is going to be the problem here. I fear.
It's not too hot, though, which is nice to see. So the temperature's not too bad. We're only using... interesting. Let's see what else. Let's rank the parts. This is all too confusing for me. Oh yeah, it's doing in a list. So where's ours sit? It sits somewhere. Oh, it's on part 18. Oh, so this isn't actually our parts, it's just general info.
Oh, there's that general info. Okay.
Boring. Right, let's see. Will our computer run... Oh, thinking of a game. Minecraft. So, yes, it'll run... Oh, no, it won't, because our computer's not... our CPU is not good enough to run Minecraft.
So, hang on. We have the world's... possibly one of the world's most powerful graphics cards, but because we have a salary, it won't
run Minecraft.
Oh, no.
Oh, dear. Okay, what else? Rocket League? No, it's the Celeron that's causing the problems. Civ 6? Nope, it's the Celeron.
This celery is useless.
Can we run any of these?
It doesn't even achieve the minimum spec. This
PUBG,
is terrible.
No. Farm Simulator? Nope.
World of Warcraft?
Hang on, because that's an ancient one, isn't it?
Yeah.
That one was around in 2006, I think it came out.
Come on, the celery must be
Nope.
able to handle it. What?
It needs a Core i3 at least.
These all need Core i3s.
Oh my
What
goodness.
is the point of this celery?
I've watched, no.
Wait, Doom. What Doom? Is that Doom from
I think that's
many years ago?
Doom 2015,
Oh,
not
well, there's no
original
hope.
Doom from 1993.
Oh, there's no hope then.
Yeah, no, it won't run. It won't run minimum spec.
This is terrible.
Counter-Strike? No. Adobe Photoshop. Hey, we can run Photoshop.
Oh, thank goodness. We can actually run...
We can do weird Wallace glitch art. See last week's stream if that doesn't make sense to you. But yeah.
Sorry, we can run Adobe Photoshop and that is it.
That's it.
What about Premiere? Can we run Premiere?
We can't run Premiere.
Right, so we can run Photoshop. So this PC that is worth nearly $3,000?
$3,000
can run Photoshop.
$2,200. So that's about what, £1,500?
And we can do Photoshop.
And that's it. And even then, I don't think it would run very smoothly.
That's pathetic.
Well, in any case, I hope you've enjoyed, everyone.
Yes.
Thanks for helping us build a potato.
Yes.
It'd be fun, actually. We do need to come back to this and see if we could build the most advanced PC.
I think it's worth a revisit, isn't it?
And I do want to see if we can get something that runs worse than this, because, of course, this has got a really chunky graphics card.
We need to just see what's the lowest possible spec and how many things we can make sure that it 100% cannot run using any of its components.
Exactly.
As opposed to just the CPU.
Although I think the way that this game works is... it's something to explore in the future.
Yes.
In any case, thank you for watching Technolive. And yeah, we're here every single week at 4:30 on a Thursday. And yeah, just doing some interesting computer sciencey stuff, programming, playing games, all that gubbins. So, in any case, hope to see you next week, and goodbye, everyone.
See you later.
Ta-ra.